Hello and welcome to Innovators powered by Best Buy. This is the podcast that finds those stories behind some of your favorite products. I'm Bradley Hasemeyer, and today we're chatting with Peter Prunuske, Senior Director of Product Management at Google, and he's got a lot to say about the newly released Pixel 9 series. Welcome to the show, Peter Prunuske, Director of Product Management at Google. Cheers, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Bradley. Great to be here today.
You don't seem as tired as I would expect, given the massive launch that just happened that you guys were talking about. Lots of products there, lots of things to talk about. But I'm curious, as someone who's in the mix, as a chef in the kitchen, what stands out to you as something that you're super excited about over that huge launch?
Wow, that's a tough question.
I know. It's like favorite food, right? It's hard to know.
For sure. We announced a bunch of amazing Pixel products, from phones to watch to buds, and some pretty amazing new features for all those products. And while I love them all, I'd say I'm most excited for the Pixel 9 Pro XL. It redefines elegance and it celebrates our renowned Pixel camera. You get the best, brightest, most immersive Super Actua display yet.
It's all right here. Look at this. Look at the elegance.
Sir.
Look at the redefining. It's happening in my hand.
Yes, you'll also notice as you flash that around, the powerful triple rear camera system. And if you go over to the front side, our best selfie camera ever. It has higher resolution, better light sensitivity, wider field of view, and of course, a ton of RAM. And our newest Tensor G4 processor runs smoother than ever. And, the way I look at this phone, Pixel 9 Pro XL especially, it's just the perfect expression of Google's perspective of a flagship smartphone.
So what are some of the standout features in this 9? Specifically, I've got the 9 Pro XL for you viewers at home. And I've been impressed with it, but I'm curious from like behind the curtain, what are some of the things you guys have done to really move the needle on this?
Yeah, I think, what's interesting about this series of Pixel, they're the first phones that are built for the Gemini era. And Gemini can be your assistant on your phone. There's a new feature called Gemini Live where you can interact. There's a multimodality element to this. And Gemini gives us the advantage of building experiences that are truly helpful. So whether you're using call screen to keep spammers at bay or hold for me while waiting to get connected to an actual real person, Pixel saves you time so you can focus on what matters most. A couple of the other features that really stand out for me, Add Me. We hear a lot of stories of people who want to take a photo and also be in the shot.
Yeah.
And the new Add Me photo guides you through taking 2 photos and then delivers a final image with all the subjects included.
I love that. Now, there were obviously a lot of announcements, a lot of product, a lot of hardware, a lot of software. And I want to get to Gemini in a minute, but I want to kind of focus on this, the Pixel 9. Specifically, I've got the XL Pro. Walk me through the offerings in the Pixel 9. And then I want to talk a little bit about how you figure out how to make it so awesome, the feel in hand, the materials, how you research all that. We're a podcast about the stories behind the product. So I want to get into some of that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start a little bit with a couple of the design elements. First and foremost, we know durability and longevity are important to our users. So we re-architected the 9 series from the ground up to ensure they're engineered to last. And one of the major changes is introducing a flatter architecture. And this enables the 9, the 9 Pro, and the 9 Pro XL to be twice as durable as our last generation. And, that's quite important. It helps reduce the need for replacement, which ultimately reduces e-waste. And again, all these Pixel phones come with 7 years of support. On the question around, research and kind of trying to figure out how to shape these things, we've learned a lot early on when building Pixel. We expanded our market footprint. We grew our engineering capabilities. So yes, we do a ton of research around materials, finishes, dimensions, weight, reachability when you're holding that device in one hand, pocketability. And, me and my team have the wonderful job of trying to strike the right balance of trade-offs for most users. And, you have to obviously take into account technical capabilities. It's extremely complicated and complex to build a mobile device, and the industry moves so fast. The competition is fierce.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy how quick is commercials all the time. It's the new this, it's the new that. I mean, that to me sounds like, wow, what a tough game to be in.
yeah, yeah, it's fun though. I've been doing it for about 25 years, and I wouldn't want to do anything else.
I think a 25-year-old would be like, there were phones back 25 years ago. There were even phones invented. Like what? That's crazy. I love that. And I think, I want to talk about the camera too. A lot of my
Sure.
friends who come from various ecosystems, whether it's point and shoot or DSLR or full frame cinema cameras or whatever, a lot of them know that the Google Pixel has historically been just a generally the best camera on the market in terms of smartphones.
Indeed, and the Pixel 9 series, we make a major jump forward in video quality, and super excited to get that into customers' hands. This one of the standout features I highlight is video boost with super res zoom. So you can get up to 20x super res zoom, and this gives you sharper focus, stabilization. It's especially helpful for zooming in at a concert or at a sporting event. So getting back to that framework, these are real problems that through that research we talked about, we've identified. And, working across Google, leveraging our strengths from research and then having the ability to optimize the entire system, the entire stack of the phone from the silicon to the system hardware, and then, of course, the Android operating system, we've taken a pretty significant step forward on video.
And something that's in other phones that I've had in the past, I've been afraid, like they're beautiful, but then I have to cover them with a case because I'm afraid they're going to break. And I don't feel that way. I do feel it's beautiful, but the matte finish on here and just the size in hand, but it also feels like it could stand up to, your normal wear and tear, drops and scrapes.
Yeah, I think it's good. We want people to have that choice, and similarly, we want people to be able to upgrade on their terms when they're ready. We don't
That's
want you to
good.
have to upgrade because the device is no longer working or the software is stale, so on and so forth. So building for longevity is quite important. It gives you the choice. And if you want to hand that phone down to a family member or friend, great. If you want to, sell it or trade it in, great. But extending the life cycle of these phones to allow them to serve value and provide value and serve users for a longer period of time. It's good for Google, it's good for the users, it's good for the world.
And you were talking earlier about kind of thinking forward, with AI, this is kind of, I feel like in a lot of ways, we've talked about it on this show a little bit, like we're just the tip of the iceberg for what this can do. Talk a little bit about this next evolution for you guys and how, no one sees AI when they see a phone. They see the way it looks, how it feels, how it holds. But the second you start using it, you don't even know it. But either in a small degree or depending on what you want, a large degree, it's always kind of operating there. So how important is that for you guys?
Unbelievably important. 2016, Sundar, came and stated that, Google would be an AI first company. And coincidentally, that was the first year that we built Pixel phones. And since that time, we've been, working to that mission with hardware and software and AI. And, what you're seeing on the 9 series with Gemini Nano and multimodality, it's the most capable on-device AI model. It helps understand not just your text inputs, but also image and audio and speech. Gemini is now the default AI assistant. Uh, you can actually work with it like a real live assistant, which is pretty crazy. Supports a ton of languages. It understands words, but also your intent and helps you tackle like the most complex tasks. And of course, with your permission, can even provide some personal help. It's quite interesting and exciting. And I would say, as we kind of look ahead, it's definitely a very exciting time for Pixel.
Well, I'm almost done, but I'm always curious about the speed bumps that people hit. What are some of the more complicated things that people may not anticipate?
I would say integrating AI deeply at the system level rather than individual apps and services, it's quite challenging, but the benefit is it enhances many aspects of the Google experience. So from camera, communications to calling. And of course, we also increase the RAM to ensure that your Pixel phone runs our most efficient models not just today, but into the future. We talked about 7 years of support. So bringing that together definitely was challenging, but feel very confident and just unbelievably excited to get these devices to people around the world and see how they use them.
I always love to ask, what is coming next? I see your brain has the answer, but it's telling your mouth, don't move. We can't say anything right now. But what are some things that you can let us know about what's coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've established Google Pixel as a premium product, a wonderful choice for users, no matter what their current device is. And while we didn't talk about it today, we still have our Pixel Watch line, introduced choice of size there. We have the Buds line. I'm using
Yeah,
the
that's what you're
latest
wearing
Buds
right now.
Pro.
Yeah.
Exactly. We still have our Pixel tablet. So you know while this interview was very much focused on phones, you can imagine we're thinking of form factors and computers in many other ways, and what we decide to do in terms of providing that uh, best of Google and Pixel experience. That's my job to figure out.
All right. Well, Peter, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited for other people to get to enjoy this as much as I do. It's very exciting. Great phone. Love the feel in hand, and obviously the AI and all the elements to it. You guys have done a great job. So thanks for all your hard work.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Bradley, for having me. And thanks to the Best Buy team. And excited to see the future and hopefully one day be back on the show.
Thanks so much for watching or listening, and make sure you subscribe and let us know in the comments what you'd like to see next.